Yeah, man. Let's kill that bass head. Alright, let's do this. I'm on the air, we got this pockets flow. It's me and Tony on the mics, we gotta let you know of current events, little gaming, sprinkle in some entertainment. We stay humble, but our moms still think we're famous. Turn up the bass and baby, maybe let that magic flow. Our spoken word is all the things you really wanna know. Having a good time on the show, T-Bows and Matty G. Tune in and hit subscribe and join us on the FAP.
Welcome, everyone, to the Freaking Awesome Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Bowes, and today we have a wonderful guest, someone who is actually a little bit beyond our norm, but given the fact that it's New Year and that everybody is kind of looking at that New Year's resolution, changing a little bit thing, who better to talk to than Pauline Irene Stacey, who has written a book that there is no time to clean. Or listen to Irene.
Listen to Pauline.
Pauline. Well, it's really funny. So, I was in my head the other day when I was doing a little more research about you, and I thought it was really interesting that you had your name is all like three first names, So
it is, yes.
Stacey, and I was just like, I know I'm going to mess this up when I go to talk about the book because.
And I would have told you you'd be the first one to do it.
Yeah. I know that's not true. I've seen some of the other shows, so at least I got your last name correct. So,
yeah, right. Right. Oh, so I know you did watch an interview or two.
It is true. It is true. Yeah, I do a little bit of research always, but I find this is a really interesting topic, and I know cleaning is one of the things that everybody hates, and I am one of those people. Like, I hate cleaning. I really do. I love a clean space. It's amazing the way it changes your mentality, and it's I find it's really funny because we've got some ADHD people in my family, and it's amazing to see how it changes personalities, how it changes even just day-to-day emotions in the house by having a clean space. But getting to that, and I was saying to you before the show, like, I am in one of those very, very interesting scenarios where I've got a lot going on in my house. I've got a lot of people in my house right now, and my wife and I are finding it like a never-ending struggle to get things clean, and it's really hard to do renovations, and it's hard to you're in the midst of moving kind of two houses together and doing all this renovation, and it's so difficult. So cleaning is like the bane of my existence because it's like never ending, and I find that I'm constantly cleaning dishes or constantly sweeping stuff up, or you go to move something and it's like all of a sudden a pile of lint or the dust bunnies are coming out of the woodworks, and it feels like it's never ending. I want it to end. So you get so frustrated and overwhelmed when you feel like you're always cleaning. And I'm happy to hear that you have got some very interesting steps to make that happen.
I'm dying over here listening to you talk because I know you think you're the only one in that boat, which is the reason I wrote the book because I know that you're not. And listening to every single little piece of situation, the ADHD part and the moving and combining things, all of it is something I can help you with, but it's all so easy. So I was trying really hard not to have a really big smile on my face.
That's okay. We're all smiles here.
So you thought I was going to feel your pain, but instead I was like, all right, Pauline, don't start laughing at them. But I'm not. I'm with you. I'm totally with you, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This book was actually written 33 years ago.
Wow.
And if anybody cares to ask why, I can talk about that. But I want to kind of get it right into what you were talking about, because there's just so much there. And I also, for those that are actually watching, I need you to see how small this book is. I actually call it a cleaning manual. Okay. And I'm going to you see this?
Yep.
You see that? This book can make a huge difference in your life. Huge difference in your life. Cleaning is a topic no one ever taught us. Mm-hmm. Think about that. I'm sure your mom hasn't taught you how to clean. Nobody taught your mom. I mean, when I say how to clean, I'm not talking about, throw some stuff on a dusting rag and, do this, do that, right? I'm talking about a cleaning system.
Yeah.
So even when you if you went to high school and you took, what was that? Home economics, people took that class. They didn't teach you how to clean. Okay. So this book is a system. This book teaches you about a system on how to clean. 33 years ago, when I got the idea, I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. I was in school full time. I was a single mom. I had no child support. It was busy times. Okay. So I wanted to always use my time wisely. So what I would do is, I would go to the bookstore at night after a long day, picking my daughter up at daycare. And is anybody out there remember the old brick and mortar big bookstore?
Oh my goodness. I used to
Go
get lost in there.
someplace.
Yeah.
So I would sit on the floor and I would go to through all the cleaning books and try to see. And so I was like, okay, there's nothing about a system. So when I first started doing interviews for the book just a couple of months ago, and I was saying this, I was like, wait a minute, Pauline, that was 33 years ago. You better get your butt on Google and see if that's still the case. I want you to know that it's still the case. I mean, I challenge anybody out there to find one because I really want to see if there is one. But I did spend a few days, a few hours each day trying to find something because I like to, be able to back up what I say. And so 33 years later, there's still not a system. The books out there are about tips, what to use on a stain, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And then organizing. Now, if you Google organizing, it's just pages and pages and pages of books about organizing. Yeah. Go to Amazon, literally thousands of books on organizing. But what I want you to understand is that if you look up the definition of cleaning in the dictionary, well, does anybody use a dictionary?
The Google.
I gotta get my mindset straight here, right? Okay, but if you look it up, it would say that cleaning it says the action of cleaning, of getting something clean. Okay, so the cleaning is the action of cleaning, of getting something clean. If you look up organizing is arranging things in a structure. So, two totally different words, right? Okay, so they're two totally different things. So where's Pauline going with this? When I was developing the system, I didn't do it on purpose. Everything happened because of my situation, and I had to hurry up and get the heck out. I was cleaning homes to put myself through school. So I'd go to school for 4 hours. I dropped my daughter off in the morning. I'd go to school for 4 hours. Then I would work till 6 o'clock, and then I would go pick her up. In those days, well, I heard it's still true. When you pick your kids up late from daycare, they charge you $25 for every 5 minutes you're late.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
And back in those days, it might have been $1 million because I just didn't have it. So where am I going with this? I had to hurry up, whatever I was doing. So if I was cleaning houses to put myself through school, I needed to make sure my butt was in that parking lot at 1 minute of 6. So I just got to a point where I would start to challenge myself, like, okay, I did this place, in X amount of time last week. Let me see if I can do it 5 minutes quicker. And so I just started doing that. At the same time, I was in school. I was studying business management. And I know that most people think business management is about making money, studying how to make money. But essentially, it's studying how to manage people in order to make money. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the studies that I had, I forgot what type of class this was, but it was like a manufacturing class or something. But anyway, it was the study that they had done, and I believe it was Ford Motor Company, and they were putting parts on a conveyor belt. And they would have people do 3 or 4 things to one part before it moved to the next person. Okay. Yep. Then they studied that if one person did one thing to a part, what would happen? And what happened was the production was astronomically much more than if somebody was doing several things at the same time. So when you clean, for people that actually out there that actually do clean or take the time to clean, I'm sure you realize that it's like empty brain time. Does that make sense? Like you're just randomly thinking random thoughts because you're just cleaning. So it's almost like sleeping, right? You just think or meditating, like your brain is everywhere.
Declutter what's going on in the head.
Yeah. So one day it hits me that because cleaning is, you got to dust, you got to vacuum, you got to do the floors. So that's also all broken up. You got windows to do, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wait a second. If I break this up and turn it into a system where I'm doing one thing at a time, will this speed it up? Well, lo and behold, it was a whole different ball game. And I'm giving you, believe it or not, that's the nutshell version of how this system came about. And when I started to realize that what I could do in 3 hours, and I was thinking about being a single mom, being in school, and my whole family lived up north. I lived in South Florida. My whole family lived up north. So I had nobody to rely on, like, hey, mom, can you pick up, Jessica when, if I don't make it, whatever.
Yep.
That didn't exist. It was all me. So the pressure was on, and that's how I came up with this. And so I realized I need to write this down because I have to share this with people. Like, how many people are in my shoes?
Yeah.
Millions.
A lot. Right? Yeah.
And then as time went on, I realized that, well, it's not just single women that have to clean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you live in a cardboard box. Many people have said to me in interviews, like, well, what's your target audience? When I was, when you first are working with a publishing company, they ask you a million questions and everybody wants to know what my target audience is. And it seems so lame to go, well, everybody.
It's true.
But
it's
true.
And it's really ironic, or maybe it's great timing. I don't know if you think about it, because with COVID, there is an all-time high of people getting divorced and separated because, they've realized that they've spent so much time together. Like, holy crap, I actually really don't like you. I've never spent this much time with you. So there's a lot of people who are doing it on their own now. And
yes.
And they're realizing, especially when it used to be a team effort, or maybe, one person was earning the money, the other person was cleaning, then they're now having to be like, oh, I got to work and clean and my kid half the time. It really comes down to the crunch.
What you're saying is huge. And I will tell you that it was just a few months after the pandemic when we were all of us, the whole world, right? This was like, it hit us like, the second week of March where we were all shut in. And I think it was like April when I was just like, you know what? I have to change. I had a life event when my mom passed and I just couldn't get over it. And and my business just completely, went to pieces. And so I was like, I have to do something different. And I like worked with this life coach, and through this, I'm not life coach, but well, yeah, I guess life coach. And through that anyway, it was one thing happened, another thing happened. And then I found out about publishing books. And I was like, time to revisit that book that I wrote 33 years ago. I mean, I revisited it many times, but this was the first time that there was a situation set up where you can publish a book that everybody's reading, back in the day, because I said, well, why did you wait 30? Well, I didn't wait. It just wouldn't get published. I tried, but no one's going to publish a book like that 33 years ago, and if you wanted to do it on your own, it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like it just, just wasn't a thing. Today, we've got the self-help crew going on, we've got, we talked about construction, people, do it yourself, DIYers, all this stuff, all these people. So people care. But one of the categories that my book fits into extremely well, believe it or not, is mental health. So listening to you talk about this stuff, I'm like, they have no idea what this book is really all about. Mm-hmm. So I just decided I'm going to do this. So I find this phenomenal company and I co-published my book. What's cool about co-publishing is that the company will help you with all the details to get it out, get it on the market, all the stuff you don't know about, or if you have to learn about, would take you years. Mm-hmm. But you still own all the rights to your book. So you can make any changes, you make all the calls, and you make all the royalties too.
Yes.
So, it was the time. It was the timing. And everyone's like, oh my God, the COVID thing, right? Being in the house by yourself all day, well, not by yourself, but with your family, like no strangers.
Depends. You could be by yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, so a lot of issues came up, a lot of issues. And so, but the other cool thing about my book that unless you buy it and look at it, No Time to Clean, listen to Pauline, the first 5 chapters are not about cleaning. They don't even talk about cleaning. Yes, it's all about the psychology. First chapter, I think it's the first chapter, it's titled, Why Do We Hate Cleaning? So I delve into the
And I could probably
psychology.
create a chapter on how to answer that question.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so it goes straight into, that's the other thing about the book that's so cool. First of all, we're all busy. Nobody is going to buy this book for entertainment. This book isn't about being entertained. Okay.
No.
It's a how-to book, DIY, stay sane, all the things, all the categories it fits into. And for me, I'm thinking, especially when I was said like single moms, right?
Mhm.
Or let's say people that don't even like to read, right?
People just don't have a lot of time.
Just give me the information. That's
Yeah.
that's how my mind thinks anyway. But I also know
Yes.
that's the time we're in, right? With all
Yeah.
the emails we get, and it's just out of control. So
Mhm.
I thought I just need to just get to the point. Like I need to help. I need to share this so everybody else can get out of that guilt-free zone. That's what I call it, right? Because how many people out there feel guilty that they don't have time to clean the house, or that the house is not clean, right? People, you
Yeah.
know, back in the day when we used to go to work, we'd come home, it's 5, 6 o'clock by the time you get home, and then it's dinner. Even if you're by yourself, even if you don't have kids, you know, it's dinner. You sit down, you're like, you just need to
Exhausted.
unwind for like a half hour, have a snack, watch a feel good program, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And you know what, you see the stuff, you see the, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just on your mind 24/7.
Yep.
So in my book is designed to get you out of the guilt. It's put you in a guilt-free zone, right? It's to
Mhm.
help you stop thinking about cleaning. That really is, I mean, if I had to rename my book, I would have it called something like Stop Thinking About Cleaning. Because here's the thing, when the house is clean, are you going to think about I have to clean the house?
Mhm.
Right? It's like if your car's running great, you don't go, well, I need to take the car into the shop. Like you don't think about it.
It's true.
And ask at either the OCD people out there or the women that are tasked, because I don't like to box anybody into the cleaning box. Like, you know, people say, oh, it's the women. Like it kind of is sometimes. I just say the person that's kind of unspokenly tasked the job. Right? So, you know, we're always thinking about it. And it's because you just said at the beginning of the show, right? It doesn't
Mhm.
end.
Yeah.
It doesn't end. It's always
feels never ending.
have
Yeah.
to do, right?
Yeah. As most
So,
tasks do.
yeah. So when you have a system to do anything, it changes everything,
Mhm.
right? Does that make sense? Because
Oh,
for
yeah.
me, it's like if I see that there's a system and you know there's a plan, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And if I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, then as I'm working on this project, does that make sense to you? I feel like I'm going somewhere. But when
Yes.
there's no light at the end of the tunnel, meaning there's no system, you have no, you just, let's paint a scenario. I need your audience to tell you how many people this has happened to, okay? Let's say that Saturday morning is your, the other thing, let me bring this up real quick first too. The book is about weekly house cleaning, okay?
Okay.
So it's not about organizing. We'll talk about that in a second. It's about weekly house cleaning. So let's say that you pick Saturday morning, 12 o'clock. That's when you normally start your weekly house cleaning, okay?
Mhm.
So you walk into the kitchen and you say, I'm going to start with the dishes. And we're going to talk about that too. Why? That's a no-no. So I'm going to start with the dishes. So I go in the kitchen and I start doing something with the dishes, and I see something on the counter that doesn't belong there. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Like, oh, that belongs in the bathroom. Now I walk clear across the house,
Mhm.
put the thing in the drawer that it belongs in, open up the drawer and go, wow, what a mess this is.
See,
And then,
I'd spend 10 minutes being like, which one of my kids was brushing their teeth in the sink? Like, I mean, you won't brush it in the bathroom. Like, we've got 2 bathrooms. You don't need to be brushing your teeth in the kitchen. So it'd probably be I'd off track right there.
no. I told you this is going to be a funny show because this is the stuff happens to all of us, right? So now you organize that drawer. Now you go back in the kitchen to do your weekly house cleaning, and you go, wow, cleaning takes so long. Which, just so you know, is one of the reasons why people hate cleaning.
Yes.
Right? Because in their minds, it is never ending and it takes so long. So let's talk about why it takes so long. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Because they're doing 2 separate chores. There's cleaning and there's organizing. So the book talks about when you're going to pick your weekly hour. Okay. If you want to organize, you need to do that before the night before, the hour before, or not do it. Now, OCD people love this book. I'm going to tell you, you're probably thinking there's no way, Paul, if you told an OCD person, don't clean up the house, don't organize, do the laundry, put the toys away, like, right? Because that's all the stuff we do when we say, I'm going to clean. But that's not cleaning. Remember?
Okay. Picking up, that's moving things around. And it's
Exactly.
true. It's actually sometimes very hard to clean if you haven't done the organizing. So
exactly. But listen to what I'm saying, okay? So the people who want to actually have the house clean, but have all this clutter, didn't take the time to put it away. My advice in the book is, well, you got a couple of options, but one of them is leave the stuff there. Okay, leave it there. Now, OCD people are like, oh, I can't do that. I just cannot do that. No. Just follow through with me, right? So you're gonna, let's say it's stuff on the floor and you get to the vacuum part, and I say vacuum around it. That flips a lot of people out. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing: the rest of the room is vacuumed. Okay. Let's say that you've got the organizing to do and the toys are out and you didn't do the dishes, but and you're following the book and you're doing everything I say to do in the book. Your bathroom is going to be clean. Your mirrors will be clean in the house. Your house will be dusted. Things will be vacuumed. The cleanliness part of it is going to be done. And here's the other thing. Next week, that pile might be over there. So don't clean that spot next week, right? If you don't decide to organize ahead of time, you're going to clean the spot that wasn't clean last week because things have been moved around. So you get what I'm saying? Now, most people aren't going to do it that way. I'm just trying to help people think this through and realize that this doesn't have to be the worst horrible chore on the planet. Here's the other thing. Let's talk about mindset. Another thing as far as time, right? It takes people a lot of time to clean. In No Time to Clean, listen to Pauline. I told you that the first 5 chapters don't talk about cleaning. What do we talk about? So one subject is, why do we hate cleaning? So I got a couple props for you if that's okay, right? So let's say it's my time to clean and I'm taking my stuff out and they bring out these lovely rags, right? These are rags. Who wants to feel good? Who wants to do a job with stuff like this? So, not me. So,
it's fair.
So years ago, I had already come up with this concept. Now it exists everywhere. But I disbanded the word rag and I called it a cleaning cloth.
Okay.
Automatically the term changes. But here's the deal. Today, look what we can clean with. Microfiber cleaning cloths. Look at the color. In my book, I had to change it because I just published it now, but it said, go to the linen store and buy your favorite color face cloths because it's the right size. But it was about color. Today, we don't have to do that. Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, wherever you go, they have, and they call them cleaning cloths. So automatically, right now, you see where the mind is shifting a little bit.
That's right. You're getting away from the preconception of this dirty, already soiled rag, already looking more towards positive, cleaner.
Yes, right. So, and here's another point. So how we dress. So the average woman will dress, put on your old raggedy t-shirt, your worst pair of jeans, whatever, flip-flops, put your hair up in a bun and no makeup, whatever. And then cleaning with those rags, right? And, oh my God, I'm talking about it, I'm getting angst, right? So I tell people this. Remember I said that I would go from dropping my daughter off to school, then I would go to school for 4 hours, and then I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, and I would meet with the president and stuff like that before I left campus. Then I have to go clean the house. Pauline didn't have time to change her clothes to that scenario to go clean a house. So I was dressed nicely. And after all those years of cleaning houses, hundreds and hundreds of houses of cleaning, guess how many outfits I ruined? 0.
Really?
0.
Wow.
Because unless you're cleaning with bleach, what's going to happen? I just realized nothing. So here's what I tell people in the book. Well, the people aren't in the book, but in the book, I tell people, dress as if the scenario is going to happen. Let's say that your favorite college buddy is going to come and surprise you right when you're smack in the middle of cleaning, and they knock on you, no text, nothing. They knock on your door, and they're coming in the house and come to the house and they say, "Hey, let's go to lunch." That's the way you should be dressed for cleaning. Is if that person comes and all you have to do is take off your gloves, wash your hands, grab your keys, and roll. So here's what's happening, right? You feel good about yourself. You don't feel disgusting.
That's right.
You don't feel embarrassed that if somebody sees you doing this job, I don't want anybody to see me on my cleaning day. Like that's how most people feel, right?
Yep.
So you see the trend here with the products that we're using, the words that we're using, the way that we feel about ourselves. And here's what seems to be many, many people's favorite part of the book. I've got a lot of reaction to this part. Also in the book, it talks about the atmosphere. So I tell people, what's the one thing that we can do to take our mind off of anything that makes us feel good? Music.
Yes.
Right? Yep. Traffic jam, waiting on somebody in the car, they're taking way longer, whatever's going on. Right? Play your favorite music. And I tell them to blast it. Yes. And if anybody has a complaint, let's say you've got teenagers and you're listening to 50s or 70s rock and something that they don't like or can't relate to, you just say to them, when it's your week to clean, you can listen to whatever you want as loud as you want. But it's my week.
See, I got a flip side to that. I would be like, help me out. This will go faster and the music will end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I go into the atmosphere. So the attitude in the atmosphere is everything. So with that said, can you really start relating to the feeling of it? Like the dreaded part kind of goes away, right? And then, I dedicated my book to the reader. And you don't see that often, right? It's mom, dad, my whatever, my kids, my grandma, like whatever. So that, and I'm pointing that out only because I really want people to understand that this book is about them. It's all about them and it's for them. And in the book, it will talk often about this when you're in the system, about changing it up, doing what feels good for you. Because I have many people say, well, this, that. I'm like, no. This is a like a model, right? A model for you to follow to help you get more time in your life, right? Because I believe everybody deserves more time for fun, family, and most importantly, yourself. And when you can do weekly house cleaning in 3 hours or less, imagine, because I've had people tell me it takes them 8 hours. Well, you're not just cleaning. That's not cleaning. So the book goes into
kids like mine that can easily destroy what you've done in about 34 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's another book.
It's true. Actually, a quick shout out here to Beth, who says she listens to the podcast while she's cleaning, and she actually got a previous question actually for you was, do you have any advice from cleaning businesses?
Oh, 100%. As a matter of fact, please tell Beth that my blog that I'm writing now is all about cleaning businesses. So that blog will be up on my website next week. But the most important part for cleaning business, I will tell you this. You have to do it 100%. There is no 99% in a cleaning business, right? In any business, because you could work your knuckles to the bone, getting the house shiny and spotless and perfect. And there's that one little speck of dust in the corner or something. And when they notice that, honest to God, it's like magnified, like a NASA magna, that just stands out. So really, it's difficult too. I will tell, it's Beth, right? It's difficult because I have a talk with my clients ahead of time. Well, when I used to have clients, and I tell them, I'm like, look, this is your house. You sit in that chair, you stand over there, you brush your hair over here. You see things at a different angle. Does that make sense? So I'm seeing things at eye level where I'm standing and, if I have to bend over a little bit, but that's it. So if I miss something 1 week, communicate with me. Yeah. Let them tell you, this is streaky over here when I sit in this spot. Because what happens in cleaning businesses is clients will let you go at the drop of the hat and they won't tell you why.
That's right.
They don't tell you.
Yeah.
And so I tell them, look, we have to communicate.
Yep.
We have to communicate with each other. Give me the opportunity to make it right for you.
Yes.
Because,
Like all good relationships.
Another thing that happens too is, let's say that they don't tell you the first time, and then 3 weeks later, there's a little streak on the whatever over there, and they let it fester, and then they just let it go. And then think about that. Like they're definitely not going to recommend you to somebody else.
That's right.
So that's my biggest advice. But I'm actually doing my blog this week on cleaning businesses.
Perfect. Excellent. So Beth, make sure you jump over to Pauline's page, and we'll make sure we also post a link up for that later, and check out her blog about these things. Now, when you were saying about when people look at a different angle, I thought you were going to say, okay, so I'm going to sit down for the first 15 minutes and see everything from your point of view.
Well,
I'm loving this business already. I'm just going to go and sit down in their house.
Here's the thing, because let's just say you're like, even if you say, okay, I'm going to sit here in this chair and look at the angle of everything, the person might slouch, they might lay on the floor, they might even on the couch, right? Sometimes you sit, sometimes you slouch a little bit, sometimes you lay down. Like it's all different angles. So, if you don't communicate and say, hey, then you're like, and it's not your house. You don't live in it. Like, all the angles in your house that you need to get that nobody else probably would the first couple of times,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
if anything, that'd be a great list, and to be like, okay, so what is the things about your house that bother you the most?
Oh yeah.
Great place to start.
You have to have that conversation. Because cleaning is personal, right? According to the American Cleaning Institute, 34% of people feel like they don't clean enough. And 31% of people feel like they don't clean correctly. So again, with the book, it says over and over again, like it has to be about you. So yes, Pauline is guiding you and I'm giving you a system to follow. But if you don't like to do it that way, that's okay, because the book's not about me. I didn't write the book for me. I got my system. You know what I mean? Yeah. The little tricks or things that you want to use. That's another thing. In the book, I don't recommend products.
Okay.
I tell everybody what to buy, like, window stuff and this and that. Equipment, I tell them what type of equipment to buy. I don't name products. 2 reasons. One is I want people to find and experiment with stuff that they like to use. Ask family, friends, whatever. The other is I had to have something to bait people back to social media, right? So I have this thing called Pauline's Pearls. And so every once in a while, I'll drop a pearl and it will be a phenomenal product. I don't just say, this is a great product, try this product. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I keep people, I think I'm on number 4. I'm really spreading them out. But the other thing is, you have to try to make it about you and what feels good for you,
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then, when you get the job done, again, it's that time that you're not thinking about it. And to me, it was never about the time that I spent cleaning that made me as crazy as the time I spent thinking about it. And when it's off of your mind, it's so freeing, and I call it a guilt-free zone, because you're not feeling, when you're thinking about cleaning all the time, you're not thinking about how happy you're going to be when Saturday at 12 o'clock comes and you get to clean. That's not what you're thinking. You're thinking about how you hate it, how it has to get done. You know what I mean? And how badly you feel that the kids aren't, whatever. So, and when we go back to, separating the organizing, let's go there for a second. So another thing in the book, besides the first 5 chapters, besides the psychological part about it, is the scientific part. So one part of the scientific part where we were talking about the conveyor belt, right? Doing one thing at a time. Yep. So what does that mean for cleaning? Like, what the heck does that even mean? So the first thing I have to explain to people is organizing is not cleaning. So we already talked about that, right? So if you want to do your organizing, plan for another day or a couple of hours before, or don't do it and clean around. Because the people that have OCD and say to me, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. I'm like, but look, let's just say you cleaned around everything. It's not, that pile's not organized, or those toys aren't put away, but things are clean. So even if you follow the system and you read and you do what you're supposed to do, and your whole kitchen will be clean, your whole bathroom will be clean, the room will be dusted. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that in itself is freeing. And you and I were talking a little bit ago before about how good it feels. It's weird because, but not to pick on guys, but a lot of guys don't like it.
Here
right?
we go.
But here's where I'm going with this. They might not like it, but they like being in a clean spot. They like
100%.
it. They like the feeling. So people say, well, how do I can't get myself to get up and get going. I'm like, look, focus on the final desired outcome. Focus on the feeling that you're going to have in 3 hours or less, right? Yep. About how you're going to feel when it's done. Because what do? We think, I hate this. I don't want to do this. This is so psychological. Cleaning is all psychology. It's not about cleaning. Mm-hmm. Think about it. Cleaning, why we hate cleaning has nothing to do with cleaning. It's all the psychology behind it. So we can change the way we think about it and the way we approach it. We can get the job done. And here we go again. We can stop thinking about cleaning. Yes, it is going to come around. Let me tell you another one of my favorite parts. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but I get excited. So another part is that, and I just lost my train of thought on that, is that when we constantly are thinking about it and not getting it done, the weighing on you is it's horrible. When it's over with, it's like how to explain it disappears is hard to explain to somebody until you get the feeling, right? Because now you're in a clean environment and it's just clean and you feel good. You feel light. You feel happy. I mean, so even the people that don't like to actually do the task, they still, because people say, oh, he's a slob. Or she's a slob, or, teenagers, like, whatever, that's old phase, right? That's another book too. But anyway, but it's not that they are that. It's not that at all. It's that, because to me, a slob dresses like a slob, doesn't pick up, eats in a sloppy place, like, the car's all whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just that they don't like doing that particular chore. So what happens is, and you brought this up too, is the word overwhelming. Mm-hmm. So people that haven't cleaned in a really long time, they're going to buy the book. Please do not think that the first day that you try this magical potion that you're going to clean your house in 3 hours. It's going to take a little bit to get there, okay? Mm-hmm. But what's going to happen is when you have the system, you're going to start to see this does go faster. It is easier. It is better. And each time it's going to be easier. So when you finally get the system rocking and rolling, and let's say there's a week that you just say, you know what, I'm not cleaning this week. I'm just going to not clean this week. I'm going to go to the beach or whatever, you can do. Play golf, whatever. You do it because you keep up with it consistently all the time. Skipping that 1 week is going to be nothing. Now you might want to clean the toilet bowl a little bit or clean the sink in the bathroom or something like that, that you use all the time. But I'm telling you, it's going to be like nothing. It's going to be a piece of cake. So, it's the part that where you can just be flexible about things. You know what I mean? So people have to do things the way that they want to do. But I like to throw in those little ideas because I don't want everybody to think if I don't do this all the time, then I need to feel guilty, because the whole book is about not feeling guilty, right?
That's right. Yep.
So going back to the first 5 chapters and not organizing, the other reason why people hate cleaning is because we mix it with all the other chores. So we want to do laundry on that day. We want to do the organizing. We want to put all the toys away. Clean the garage. Like we think, whatever. We have all these things like projects that we mix with it, and we call that cleaning. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. That's not the cleaning. Okay.
That's right.
So when you're doing just cleaning,
mixing of things, stop trying to tackle too many things at once.
Think about the conveyor belt, right? So do one thing at a time. And that's why I say do not stop. For people that are learning the process, it's actually going to feel uncomfortable when I say vacuum around the laundry pile that nobody put away or whatever's going on, right? It's going to feel uncomfortable at first.
Not for a man. Well, I'm already loving this. It's just like I'm not going around that.
Yeah, go around. Forget it.
You know how many times I hate having to move the coffee table?
That's totally another task. Yes, and here's another thing too. I think I might say this in my book. I know I've done on my social media to talk about little ideas to help make it better. But what I would do for my clients, I would let them know. You always have to let your clients know. Don't do anything secretly, because when you do that, they don't get it. But I would once a week, I would do something. I would throw in one thing that's kind of been driving me crazy that normally isn't like a weekly cleaning thing. Does that make sense? So I tell people, like, this is not the day to clean all the outside of the cupboards. Like, people want to clean all the outside of the cupboards in the kitchen. Well, that's not the day to do that. This is countertops, the table, the toaster, the microwave, inside the microwave, like that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So maybe that might be one thing, like once a week, you might want to throw in one thing. The other thing you can do is, let's say you want to skip a week of doing weekly house chores. And for the OCD people that want to do the bigger projects. So let's say, like, one thing people want to do is clean the outside and the inside of the windows on the day you clean. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
You clean the inside. If you got sliders, whatever it is, that's what you're cleaning. So you're like, well, that doesn't even make any sense. Trust me, it does. Because on the day you finally decide that's your project and you want to do, like, let's say you skip weekly house cleaning chores one week and you do the outside of the cupboards and the outside of the windows, it's going to make a huge difference. So you can skip a week of doing weekly house chores and do little projects. You know what I mean? So are you starting to feel better just about thinking about having a system? Like, even though it is never ending, we can make it fun, and we can make it fast and change it around so that it doesn't always feel like you're just always vacuuming. Yeah. Because I know people, I've had people that interviewed me, they're like, oh, I vacuum twice, OCD. I vacuum before I do the dusting and after I do the What is happening here?
Wow. Yeah.
So you have to understand about this topic. Everybody has to do it. No one has ever taught us. It's not going away. How can we deal with it and just take away the negativity? You know what I mean? Yeah. So the system, and I had somebody ask me one time in an interview, what's the number one thing you want people to take away from your book? And I said, well, it has nothing to do with cleaning. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It has to do with the fact that if people start to see that you can do a system with cleaning, something we've never been taught, right? Mm-hmm. And never consider, how do you have a system for cleaning? If you can do that with cleaning, you could do that with anything. And touching briefly upon that subject, you brought up the word hoarder. I've done hoarders. I've done their houses. Yeah. And that's a subject that I will talk about with anybody if you want, if you have questions. But I will say to you that even that, once you learn this system, your mind is going to start figuring things out for all other situations. And hoarding is one of them. Because why does everybody, how does a hoarder get to where they are? There's two different reasons. But when you get there, when you're finally there, why is everybody overwhelmed? Because it's just such a big project. So even that I can teach. I've had people tell me that they're going to have to hire a crew. I'm like, well, listen to me first. Just listen to me first if you want to save money and try my way. And then if that doesn't work, then go ahead. But most people, it just works, Yeah.
So it really sounds like the main purpose of this book is actually changing the mindset behind cleaning and why it is actually, it shouldn't be viewed as a negative experience, but really move more towards the positivity of this.
Yeah, it's really the motivating factor for me when I had that split thought, oh my God, I have to tell everybody about this, right? The thought was that to take them out of the guilt thing, right? The guilt thing is huge. It really, really is huge. Yeah. Get them out of that, but then also to reclaim your weekends, to have time. You're like, how most people are not going to believe me that they could clean their house in 3 hours or less. And I'm going to tell you why. When I was cleaning houses, I was in Palm Beach County. I'm still in Palm Beach County. In Palm Beach, it's the wealthiest county in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. So you've got these big, I call them museums. They're not even homes, right? They're just big museums with hundreds of homes. They don't even have family pictures. It's like, so when I had to clean my museums, but I realized that the system part of it is the same. It doesn't matter. If you live in a one-bedroom home or it doesn't matter. It's the same exact system. There's not a different book for everybody. It's the same exact system. And that when you start to see that it's broken down, it can happen. And so people that say, This one girl told me it took her 8 hours to clean her room. I'm like, well, honey, first of all, you're not just clean. That's not clean. You got to get people out of the train of thought of how to use the words correctly. You are organizing your room. So you don't hate cleaning. Maybe you hate organizing. Does that make sense? Right. And here's another thing. Another reason why people hate cleaning so much and why they say it takes so long. I'm talking about the actual cleaning. Let's say people have got that part done. They don't mix their chores. What happens is, going back to the scenario about being in the kitchen, ending up in the bathroom, organizing that drawer, going back, right? Where we randomly walk around the house. I know there's a lot of listeners out there who are like, oh my God, she's describing me. And let's say that they actually, which they probably don't, but let's say they say, okay, that's my day, right? 12 o'clock Saturday. That's my weekly house cleaning day. They just randomly walk around the house. They might vacuum a room and then go here and dust that and then go clean the toilet or whatever. So what's happening is you're thinking, what am I going to do next? And when you have to think, you move slower. Does that make sense? Because even though it's like 30 seconds, 15 seconds, it slows you down. With the book, No Time to Clean, listen to Pauline, with the system, you're bam, 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 bam. There's no slowing down. There's no thinking. Let me tell you what else. So what I decided was, okay, Pauline, so you got this nice, lovely little story about, a little system to teach you how to clean. Who's going to walk around with a book and go, okay, let me go to page 2, right? So I got this brainstorm where what I did was people that buy the book, the bonuses in the book, where to go. But you go on the website and I printed out printer-friendly outlines.
Okay.
So that you can literally print these out, stick them in your bucket. Right. And then you cheat sheets. Exactly. That's what I was calling them. Yeah. And then you just follow bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean? So, and this way here, you don't have to take the book, but I will also tell you that I really challenge anybody to need more than the most would be 3 times of having to read it, because it's all intuitive, right? Cleaning in a circle. I even have a map in the book to show people where to start and how to think, right?
Okay.
Think about dirt and dust. And I tell people, try to visualize that you're moving the dirt out of the house, out the front door. Or if let's say you want to do it the back door, whichever, whatever, that's how you have to think about it. So I explained, so there's a map in there, shows you where to go. There's no thinking involved. There's even an illustration of how to set up your day. So here's where this is where you put the mop. This is where you put this. This is where you put this. This is where you put the bucket. I tell you what to put in the bucket. I mean, there's no thinking whatsoever. Just follow the system. So you can see after 3 times, you're like, I got this. You'll never need that. You'll never need to follow that again.
Right. Build that muscle memory.
It's yeah. And then you'll see, okay, you really can clean somebody's house in 3 hours.
It's very cool. Excellent. Well, it definitely sounds like a very interesting read. It's nice that it's a very thin and small read, which is another great thing when people are trying to get into something, because if the book is going to be a chore to clean or to read about cleaning, then it becomes a double chore, right? So by keeping it thin, keeping it fast, and keeping it, like you said, right to the point, that is the key. So, and I find with a lot of self-help or a lot of different books or manuals and everything that's out there, there is no such thing as to the point. So it's beautiful to see something that you have recognized as someone who, again, doesn't have a lot of time in their life. You need to make that time. So here it is. So it's absolutely wonderful. Now, I do want to take a couple minutes here to move to another part of our show where we're going to ask you some quick questions, and these are just things to get to know you as a person a little bit better. And maybe not so much as an author, but these are just some fun things. But it helps us put a person behind this book.
Okay,
so,
shoot.
Okay, so here's our first question: what made-up word would you register into the English language?
A made-up word?
Yep. Could be some type of slang that you've used, and you're just like, I use it all the time. It should be a word.
What's funny is I do that all the time, so I can't even one doesn't come to mind off the top of my head. That is an excellent question. I'm going to use that on people.
There you go. We can skip this one if it's.
I didn't pass the test.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. We still have some more.
I make up words all day long. I'm going to think about it while we're talking.
That's okay. You can shout it out later if you think of it. What's the scariest dream you've ever had?
Oh my God! I just had it 2 nights ago.
It should be easy to remember then.
And I don't dream. Wow. Okay. Well, it's hard to recreate dreams, right? Because we have to try to make sense of them. But
Yeah.
I was having somebody set up the shooting of my daughter who wanted to be shot. And I just, I don't know, it was crazy. It went on for hours and hours and hours. And I just kept remembering, like, if you do this, you can't take it back. And I was like, and then at one point I remember thinking, oh, I never asked her, why does she want to be shot? Like, it was just like a normal day. Like, oh, she wants to be shot. So we're going to set up somebody to get so mad at her that, so yeah, I shouldn't have told
I'm
that.
assuming this is not a photo shoot kind of shot.
I don't know, it was a shot.
That's interesting. Wow. We're going to have to get people in the
I'm
dream.
going to have to get some psychologists now.
If you could have a superpower, which superpower would you like?
If I could pick one?
Yep.
Because I already have a few.
Oh, okay.
If I could pick a superpower, I'm working on this and I'm almost there. So I will pick on really not worrying about, what the rest of the world thinks of you.
Okay.
Or maybe even like, maybe even what I think of myself. Because you know how they say we're our own worst enemies. And in this day of social media, and then having to put yourself out there, which you and I were talking about prior to this, I hid from social media my entire life, which is a really long time. I look a lot younger than I am. I just turned 60 on Thanksgiving. So,
wow.
So I've been hiding from social media the whole time until the pandemic came and I had to recreate my business and rely on social media for it and so forth. And so seeing yourself all the time and having to talk about yourself, you kind of get a little judgy about your own self. So my superpower would be that I can look at myself through somebody else's eyes and not be so judgy.
Okay, interesting. I like that one. And a side note, then apparently the cure to long-lasting youth is get away from social media, people.
Oh man, I hire people to do my stuff now. I mean, I have to write
24 years old, Doug.
Yeah, I write my content, but I have to hire people to do this stuff because it's so time-consuming. You can't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't do it and have a business. You can't.
Yeah. Next question. What's your earliest childhood memory?
I would say when I think I was 2 or 3, my mom lost her wedding ring in the garden.
Ooh.
And I helped find it.
And
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that's not even just a good childhood memory. That's a happy childhood memory.
Yeah, well, which is probably why I have it, right? And especially at such a young age, because a lot of times people don't have memories that far back.
I definitely don't. Yeah, that's for sure. What makes you happiest?
This, right here.
Excellent.
Here.
I like that.
Helping people, 100,000% helping people. That was what motivated me at this time to put this book out.
Oh, I thought you meant being on our show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. I do. This is it. No, you are right. You are correct. But I'm saying the idea of helping people. Yeah. And today, like, how else do you get the word out? There's no other way, and without social media and podcasts. And, I do tons of magazine interviews too, So, I love helping people.
That's good. You're in the right business for this. What foreign language would you most likely like to learn?
French. Because I am French.
Okay.
I was brought up speaking Canadian French to the point where remember the nuns had told my mom and dad, I have a sister that's 11 months older than I am, so she was in school first. And they said, if you don't teach your daughter English, we're going to kick her out of school. That put my parents in a panic, and they tried to stop speaking French to us.
Oh, no.
So, yeah. And so as time went on, I lost a lot of it. And then when I was in high school, I decided to take Parisian French, which I know for you guys, that's a whole thing. Right?
It's true.
Parisian French people don't like Canadians calling what they speak French, but I speak French Canadian. So
that's right.
It's a whole different ballgame, but French is just a fabulous language.
It's all French to me.
It's all French. Yeah, and it's beautiful. Doesn't matter what you're saying. I would say something not nice in front of my granddaughter in French, and I go, "Doesn't that sound nice?" She's like, "Yeah, man, that sounds nice."
Yeah, she gets older. She's like, "Wait a minute."
Oh yeah, I've already
today.
told her a few of them, so she's like,
If you could live any decade, it doesn't have to be one that you've been born in. What decade would you like to go to?
Phew. Well, there's a part of me that wants to say the 50s. It just seemed so innocent. But then I realized that this decade of technology is freaking awesome, not to steal any words from your podcast.
It's catchy. We understand.
Because I'm a communicator. I love communicating, and to have so many different ways that we can do that, right? And then like I'm on these boards of directors for these. My real world is environmental. Okay. And so I work on boards, and I've been trying to bring boards up for so long because we work all over the state and stuff, and we have to travel to get together. And so I'd be like, oh, we got to get, because my daughter is into technology and her fiance. And so I know these programs existed, and I couldn't get any of them to get on board. And then COVID came, and wow, Zoom. And I'm like, I've been telling you guys about Zoom for 2 years.
Exactly what I've been talking about. Yeah.
So it's hard to say. I love this time. I love being in this time. I love how fast everything is going. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. Okay. This will be interesting from the cleaning side point of view. Toilet paper flap, over or under?
Over. Didn't even need to ask.
Oh, I'm curious now. What is your perspective behind it? Is that a preference, or is there another reason?
So would you believe the other day, I just read this thing. I don't know if it's true. I don't even know where I saw it because, I don't do the social media stuff.
Yeah.
But I actually saw something about if it's pulled underneath. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I heard this, that it actually saves paper, which I don't understand the concept. That's true or not. I just think it's stupid. Like, how do you have to go underneath the roll to find it if it's not hanging? You know what I mean? It's like, come on, just give me. I guess you have to look for it. See, I'm always so Tony. I'm always trying to save time.
Yeah. So it's really fun. It's really funny because I have just learned from a past guest not too long ago that the original patent for toilet paper actually shows it going over.
Oh, I like to hear that.
So that was the original purpose, was to actually put it on so that the flap went over.
Can I tell you something really, really funny about that?
Yeah.
I'm Catholic, and in the Catholic Church, if you wanted to get married, you had to go do all this stuff. There's these classes and stuff, and you go to the priest, and you have to go to these classes. And so they talk about, it's kind of like counseling before you get married. So you get all the junk off, so they ask you these kinds of things, right? About the toilet, about the toothpaste and all this stuff. And believe it or not, one of the questions was, one of the things they talked about was the toilet paper.
See, because they recognize that it is actually a point of contention.
So you are in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
You want to get married, and they're like, okay, what side, where do you roll?
I go under. You're going to hell.
I can't marry you.
Yeah. It's like, that's it. This is over. All because of toilet paper. Thank you, Catholic Church. Yep.
Oh my God. That's hysterical to me.
What was the first movie that made you cry?
I was never a movie person. Again, I was always busy. Movies, I don't even know. I would have to say you're gonna die because this movie hasn't been around. Well, I guess it kind of has, but I just never watched TV. I either watched sports or I was studying, so it was one of those two things. I think maybe the Titanic.
Okay, yeah.
It's not necessarily to say that was the first movie I ever saw. No, but thinking back, I would have to say I would have to say probably that movie.
Yeah, it was a good mix of not only good cinematography, but the music that really pulled on people's heartstrings.
Yeah, and the fact that you knew it was true.
That's right.
Because a lot of times when I watch stuff, like, to stop yourself from crying, like, Pauline, this is a movie. This is stupid. You know what I mean? Don't get dragged into that.
Right.
It was true.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Oh, I like this one. Do you believe in aliens?
I believe in everything. Just because we can't see something, touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever people want to call an alien, everything is energy.
Yes.
So if people are just saying that an alien is something out there that is not us, then yes, there's definitely something out there that's not us. We're on this one little ball that rolls around, you know what I'm saying,
That's right.
far
Yeah.
enough from the sun to work the way it works right now. But to say there's nothing else going on out there, I think is just is
Ludicrous.
crazy. Is
Yeah.
yes,
100%. I agree with you.
100%.
100%. Yeah. How would you spend $100 million?
I would go to people's houses and clean their house. No, I'm kidding. Maybe not. 100 charity. It has to be charity, right? It's so hard today when you're a giving person,
Mhm.
and you look at veterans groups, then you look at children, right?
Yeah.
You look at sick children, you look at the homeless,
Yeah.
you look at the elderly. There's just so many different categories. And when you're not a multimillionaire and you have to give kind of on a budget, I should say, you have to pick and choose. And that's really hard. And
Really
I've been working this is my 5th year with World Vision. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
Mhm.
I was really touched to learn that what's the princess that's not a princess anymore when they got married? What's her name? I can't believe I got Diana on my mind. So
Yeah.
but anyway, but her, and they did I watched a special on her.
Yeah.
And she works, pardon me?
Is it Princess Fergie?
No. I'm just really drawing a blank. But anyway, I was moved to learn that she worked with World Vision, because for so many years I heard so many negative things about donating, because when you just send your money to these different places, right, you just never really know. And there was once the scam that was going on for the longest time that everybody was shocked. I remember this was many years ago, but it was a very popular charity and it was all a scam. And so I was always afraid to get involved like that. But with World Vision is amazing, because whoever you sponsor, they send you their pictures. And I send, before COVID, right, before I could mail stuff to her, and I would get pictures of her wearing the stuff that I sent. So I knew it was legit, you know what I mean? Yep. So World Vision is amazing because they just go through all the world and they go in the poorest areas and they just stay there. They stay put for like 12 years and they have a plan, right? They have a system and they teach them how to use the land, and they bring water to them. That's what's really important, because a lot of them don't have water. My whole life's about water. I work with the Everglades Coalition, and in the Everglades, 8 million people rely on the drinking water, or their drinking water from the Everglades. So it's all about the water. I would spread it around, man. Spread it around.
Spread it around. Share the wealth. Yeah. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I am right-handed.
Okay. What gets on your nerves?
People that just talk too long and can't get to the point. hence the book. Right?
Sometimes, yeah. Yep.
If somebody's trying to explain something to me, I just like how to do something or why. It's like I'll get the stories later. I just need information now. Yeah.
All about efficiency.
Yep. I don't tell them and I don't show it. I just want you to know that I'm very polite, but inside I'm like,
just, oh my God, hurry up. There. Are you an iPhone or an Android person?
iPhone, and only because it was just what was going on at the time, and that's what like my daughter knew, and so when you got teenagers, that's what they show you, and so you.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Gotta go with the masses, right?
That's right. What do you do when you can't fall asleep?
Oh, meditate. 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Yep, that's a fantastic one. What's the last thing you did just for yourself?
The last thing I did just for myself, I went away for Christmas.
Where'd you go?
Somebody called it this. I've been doing this this was my 5th year now, but I go away by myself for the whole holiday to my favorite place to stay in Orlando. And I do something that I don't normally like to do, but I shop. There's one of my favorite stores in the world they're all in New England, but there's only one in Florida.
Okay.
So it's close to where I stay. And then they have a beautiful basilica in Orlando that I go to for midnight mass. So it's kind of my retreat. So that was very recent.
Very
If
interesting.
you had asked me that before, it would have been a long time.
Well, I this really goes to show how much you enjoy Florida. I mean, I love Florida, and I was down in Florida with my family for of course we were going to Disneyland, and we went around I think it was late November, and it was the
That's a
weirdest
good
thing
time.
for me. It was the weirdest thing for me because I'd never seen people decorate palm trees, and
Oh,
I thought it
yes.
was the weirdest thing, but then I was just like, I really like this. This is, you know what? It made me realize that it's not just for pine trees.
Oh, yeah,
It was
100%.
amazing. I really
think
thought
that
it was
a lot of people that come here from up north, they're just like yourself, like just blown away. And there was a part of me when I first came here, because I came here from New England, and I thought, oh, these people are just like, the amount of decorating that they do is astronomical. As time went on, I realized, because it's warm, right? We have so much time and it's warm and it's nice. So people I don't want to say overdo it, because I just don't believe in such a thing as over decorating for Christmas. But that's what I used to think they're just overdoing it because they don't have snow and whatever. But we just have a lot of time on our hands and the weather's lovely. And we have to do something, right? Especially because most of the people here are transient, right? From up north. And so 1 million people per day move to South Florida.
Oh, wow.
That's a fact. That is not something I'm making up. That is a fact. I work with developers and I work with legislators, and we're always talking about growth. And and so they all come from someplace else. And
Good to be a realtor. Let me tell you, they must be rolling in it.
Oh, you have no idea. It's phenomenal.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What activity makes you lose track of time?
Meditating.
Yeah.
100%.
I can see that. Yeah.
Because when I have certain ones that I do, and so there's this one in the morning that I just recently got addicted to, and it's only 13 minutes. And I swear to God, it is literally the fastest 13 minutes over. I'm like, no.
Keep going. It's
like the fastest 13 minutes ever. But that does make you lose track of time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I got two more. What is the best thing you have ever eaten?
Lobster.
Okay, yeah. It's so funny because well, I look at lobster because I'm not a huge seafood fan, but I look at lobster and I think it's a big mud bug, right? But the fact I think people love lobster because it's an excuse to drink butter. I think a lot of people, because you just keep spinning it and washed around in butter, and you're just like, this is the greatest thing in the world. It's probably why I like
lobster. It's pretty darn good, but I will tell you, if you love lobster as much as I do, and if you come from New England and you visit in the summer, everything's lobster sandwiches. I have to tell you something phenomenal. If you go up north into New England in the summer, because it's seasonal, you can get a lobster sandwich at McDonald's.
Ah, yes. We have that in PEI.
I do not know if anybody out there is as shocked and awed as I am, but that is stupid crazy.
It's definitely gourmet when you think of it on the scheme of McDonald's, right?
I eat no fast food at all. Zero. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even eat medium food. Not fast, not medium. All my food's slow.
But the one time you'll break that rule
every day. But that's what I was going to say to you, because when you have it on a sandwich, it's not a lot of butter and it's still freaking good.
Okay, fair enough. Excellent. And the last question I have for you today is, what's the most favorite podcast you've been on in the last 12 hours?
Oh, yours?
Right on.
It's freaking awesome.
I definitely love to hear that. It has been a joy having you on the show. Nice to know that, of course, for all our listeners that are on the road and haven't had a chance to see the live episode, we'll make sure that we put a beautiful picture of you up on our website under our guest section, as well as links on how to find your website and to get a hold of your book as well.
Yep. So they can just go to PaulineIreneStacey.com. And that's the website, and every single thing is there. Yep. You even learn how to get a hold of me on Facebook and Instagram and all that fun stuff. So it's very easy.
Great. we'll share that all around. Well, it's been wonderful having you on the show, and I got
For
to tell
having
you,
me.
it's I look forward to seeing that book because, like I said, I find that cleaning is the worst task in the world. It's nice to see that is a man-sized book, where it'll definitely keep my attention because it's not that huge, and also just to make life a little bit easier and get rid of that stigma of cleaning being such a task.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, pick it up. And if people say, what advice do you have to give to everybody? Buy one for somebody else.
That's a good advice. If you're going to share the word, if you're going to love it, because you know
Because
so much that people are going to
it
love this book.
literally, well,
Grab
it
you.
makes a huge difference in your life. Huge.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, again, thank you very much for taking some time out of your day and being on the show. And
My
we love
pleasure.
having you.
Thank you so
Well,
much. Talk to you
take
soon.
care.
Okay.
Yes, you
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.